Hi, it's Mike Redding, Managing Director of Accenture Ventures, and I'm wrapping up my nearly 30-year stint at Accenture, getting ready to close the chapter and go on to my next adventure. But I took a moment to look back on what I've learned in almost 30 years of corporate innovation, trying to bring emerging technologies to large enterprises. And I've kind of distilled it down to what I call 11 truths of how to really be a successful innovator, whether you're a corporate employee, a startup CEO, or just anyone who wants to find success when it comes to technology innovation. And so in kind of a quick nutshell, I'll run through them. First is context is crucial, right? Don't expect your audience to do the math. You are more than a little bit excited about your technology, your vision, your idea, but you got to make it relevant. You got to bring it home to the audience. I once showed in the early days video on a computer, but the content was around insurance. And I was showing it to a banker and they said, Mike, we don't sell insurance. And what I learned in that seminal moment was I need to say, look, I know it's insurance, but here's how it applies to a property that you're lending money on. And as a result, you want to know if the asset is impaired. I could put it, if I put it in their context, they would have seen the wow of what video on a computer could do for them. So context is crucial. Second, interest isn't money. I can't tell you how many times I've had a meeting with someone where I'm pitching them this brilliant, in my mind, technology concept. And they're like, Mike, we're interested. But then they don't cut the check. They don't hire me for the project. They don't buy the licenses. And so you got to understand it's easy to get caught up in the excitement as an entrepreneur, as an innovator of they like me, they really like me, but till they write you the check, you haven't closed the deal. And so you got to make sure you push all the way through and get the money, because then you're off to the races. The third, especially when it comes to trying to innovate with or in a large corporation, is patience pays off. You got to play the long game, because they say they're interested. They give you the budget or the money. Now the time clock starts. And it's going to take a couple months to get the team assembled, to get the agreement signed, to get the prototype working. Then once the prototype's done, you got to get to the stakeholders and get them excited. Then you got to build it out. And anything you build at scale takes a year. And then after that, you got to review it. So from interest to scale deployment, 2 years. And that's going at full tilt, agile, iterative speed. So recognize the seeds you plant today will bear fruit tomorrow. So stick with it and stay for the long haul, because then you'll get to where you're going. Don't expect an overnight success, but be that success 2 years in the making. So then the next point is it's all about value. I can't tell you how many times people have said, let's do a proof of concept. No, because a concept can be dismissed. It's like, oh, that was nice. But value, no one can say no to value. If you can prove when you do your experiment that the technology, the innovative concept actually creates revenue growth or cost takeout or improved customer experience, you can prove the value, then you can get the commitment from the sponsors to take it forward, to scale it out, to take that risk with you, because they want to reap the reward. After that, one of my pet peeves is you hear so many people in corporate and innovation talk about failing fast. We need a culture that fails fast. Wrong, because name one person that says, I'm going to fail today. I'm looking forward to failing. Of course not. Nobody wants to call their baby ugly. No one wants to put on their performance report, I failed today. You want to learn fast. Think about all the scientists in the world. They do experiments. Edison, 10,000 light bulbs attempts till he found the one that worked, right? And no one remembers the 9,999 that didn't. They remember the one that did. And every time he said, it's not that I failed, it's that I learned what not to do. So don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to learn fast. And as a result, take those learnings, apply them, and get to that value. Then as we move on from learning fast, the key is you've got to go out into the bigger world and find your future. It's easy to be compartmentalized, to be institutionalized, to think about your own context. but the world is a big place and there's some amazing stuff going on. And, I always like, my favorite examples of late is go to China, see the future. William Gibson said, the future isn't here, is already here. It's just unevenly distributed. Well, China, in some respects, is a future, a possible future. And you go there, be inspired, see how they live their lives and do their work and use technology in a completely different way than what we're used to seeing in Western countries. And then you can make a choice. Do I actually use the same technology, or am I inspired by it, but if I'm in German, I use some German technology. If I'm in the US, I use some US technology. It doesn't matter where you source it from. It matters where you are inspired by, which leads me to my next point: local heroes and global champions, right? Because you want to engage in your local, wherever you are, wherever local is, your local innovation ecosystem, because you're going to de-risk it by engaging, by speaking the same language, being in the same regulatory framework, understanding the same context. And remember, context is crucial. And so as a result, that's a great way to really link arms with local talent, but then think global, because there's always some amazing stuff in Tel Aviv, in Bangalore, coming out of London, coming out of Silicon Valley. And so, you want to operate at both levels. Then it's easy, especially in corporate environments, to have a lot of ideas, right? And that's about invention. Let's have more ideas. Let's have a hackathon. Let's do an idea jam. Great. But what's hard is turning an idea into money, turning it into an actual business result. And that's what innovation is. So that's the difference. Invention is ideation. Innovation is applying it to an end result. And so you got to stick with it. And it's easy to say, we had a lot of ideas. That was a fun hackathon. But that's the beginning. If you're going to really succeed corporately or individually at innovation, you got to stick through from idea, through the hard knocks of deployment, all the way to the end goal of actual use. And to get people to go on that journey, you really want to think about the power of story. You want to paint a shining city on a hill. You want to make it so that they feel like we're on a mission together. We're going to a place we all want to be experientially or technologically or business-wise, and therefore we'll figure it out together. And we want to join this. We love it. We're excited. We feel the passion. We want that outcome. So we will figure out how to overcome all the obstacles. So paint that story up front. Don't talk about the nuts and the bolts. Talk about the why you're doing something, not the how, because that's what gets people engaged and gets them over their reservations and gets them out of their comfort zone. And very importantly, build that coalition. It's not just your resources. It's tap into as many resources as you can, intellectual and monetary, right? I don't know a single budget holder ever in any organization or startup or anywhere that says, yeah, I got enough budget. Nobody has enough money to do everything they dream of, right? So get other people's money to work for you. There are billions of dollars being spent on VC, so work with a startup. Corporations spend a lot of money on R&D. The biggest technology companies, the Microsofts and the Apples and the Googles, spend a lot of money on R&D. Universities spend a lot of money on R&D. Get aligned, get on that path together, go to that shining city, but get them investing in your dream. And as a result, you get a kicker on the dollars you do have. And finally, the kind of the capstone is, I can't say this enough, you are limited only by your own imagination and your own ambition. We hold ourselves back as innovators, right? Because we let the risks and the costs and the struggle, hold us back. And the reality is, you don't have to be held back, because if you really believe in something and you know it's right and you know it's good and you know it's valuable, well, then you can bust through it if you're willing to stretch and pursue it. So that's what I've come to learn through the School of Hard Knocks, through my own lessons in life the last 30 years, and with Accenture and some of the greatest talent and greatest clients and greatest technologies in the last few decades. And I'm looking forward to applying them going forward.